Good afternoon, friends. Well, today's another day of working on the 1979 Shovelhead. Getting closer to buttoning this thing up, and I'd like to have it done probably this week or next. That way I can get that chopper frame back in the back of the shop here on the lift and start getting this thing together. Anyway, today I kind of want to work on probably the timer. Running points on this and potentially then putting on oil lines and see where we get, see what kind of time I've got. But anyway, I want to run you through the process of putting on the point system, putting the cone assembly together inside, showing you the guts of that and kind of how to do everything. And then we'll see what time we've got left and go from there. Starting on the left-hand side of the engine, I have removed the timing plug here and I have the engine set to top dead center. So now that that's set, we can go ahead and rotate the engine around to the other side. And now we're looking at our cone assembly. Obviously, as you can see, there's nothing inside here. We can see our cam, but we need to put everything in for our point system because like I said, I'm going to be running points on this engine. So with the points type set up, we have these little auto advance systems here, and there's a little pin on it. Maybe you can see that right here. There's a pin here, and then there's a line in the cam itself. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and line that up. So we'll get this stuck in place here. And now that that's lined up, then what we'll do next is we'll take our actual rotor here, and we'll get this fished into place like it goes. As you can see, when I turn this, you can see the advanced system works. It's working like it should be. And there's one way that this goes to be correct. I didn't mean to pull that out. So if you stick this cam in this way, it'll actually seat all the way down. And if you flip it around and stick it in this way, it cannot. So this is not correct. You need to make sure that you get it in the right way. So this is the proper way. So this is all the way down. And then next we'll go ahead and put our stud in place here. And this is going to hold this whole assembly in its proper location. Now with the advance unit in place, it's time to put on our points. Now I have a points plate here. Obviously there's a long trigger wire. We'll fish the trigger wire down through the bottom here. Now I've gone ahead and I've rotated the points plate itself to its proper location. I'll go ahead and tuck the wires in just a little bit here. And then there's two standoffs, one that goes on each one of the sides here. We'll go ahead and open those up and get those put in place next. Now with the standoffs started and in place, they're not threaded all the way down. I don't have everything secure. One of the things you can do is you can rotate that points plate, and it's hard to see, but there's a lobe right here. And what you want is there's a little guide right on your points right here, right where the end of this pick is. And you want that right at the edge of that guide. The lobe and the guide need to meet right there where the points just start opening up. And as you can see, I can change how this is. I can rotate this around to wherever I need it to be. So the points are just starting to open there. And that's where you want this thing to be. So now that I have the points plate where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and secure these standoffs in place. You want to be careful with these too. They are small parts, and if you do thread on them real hard, they could bust off, and I have broken these off in the past. So you want to be mindful of what you're doing here, not to go too hard on these, because if they do break, then you're going to have to go ahead and fish that out or get a new cone or whatever. Sometimes you have to machine these things out. I've never had any good luck with easy outs. And maybe you've seen my shorts feed. I did break one off recently, and I had to replace the whole cone here. So now that that's in place, I can go ahead and I can tuck this trigger wire back in its spot. We can put it right behind that standoff right there. There's just enough room to do that. We can see our points break here. The next thing will be to get our points gap set. So I'm going to go ahead and get my feeler gauges out, and we'll see what the opening is right now, and we'll go ahead and we'll set the points gap. All right, setting the points gap is fairly simple, honestly. This is the gap space you're looking at here. You can see between the armature arm here and here, there's a small gap. That should be between 18 and 20 thousandths. I've got a 19 thousandths feeler gauge here, and I can slide it through pretty well. We can check it at 20 as well and see if it's there. It doesn't feel, I feel a drag, so I feel like it is actually dragging across like it should be. I can't imagine it's a whole lot more than 19 thousandths, but we'll check. Twenty's got a little drag too. Let's see if 21 fits. If it does, we'll tighten it up a little bit. 21 does not fit. I'd have to shove it in there. So it's right at probably 19 and a half, 20 thousandths. That's set in my opinion. Now, if we needed to adjust it, there is a screw right here, and you would go ahead and back that off. And I'm actually going to tighten it to make sure it's all set here because I want it to stay in its place. And that is. But you would loosen this, and then there's a little groove right here. And what you would do is you could rotate this side of the points without rotating the whole points plate. So everything here is set as far as my gap spacing that I need for the points. So that is set up properly. Next, we'll need to go ahead and put on our gasket. So this is our gasket that covers everything up. Yes, it is used, but it's in good enough shape to use again. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in place. And then there's an outer cover that goes on, as well as an outer cover on top of that. I don't have the other one, so we'll go ahead and we'll use this one for now. I actually have an older Screaming Eagle points cover here. I'm going to run that. I kind of like it. Something that's been sitting on the shelf for a long time. So we're going to go ahead and secure this down. Same thing with these. You want to be careful putting these in because they can snap off real quickly. And once they do, you're in trouble. I mean, the nice thing is if we had to pull the stanchion just because we snapped off one of these screws, that makes it a little easier. You just get a new stanchion. Now, if you do snap off the screw in the cone here, like I said, then you're in real trouble. I have not Loctited these. I probably will, but I want to go ahead and get the engine started, make sure it's running right before I do anything like that. So this will eventually come back off. Next up is oil lines. Now I have the initial fittings in place from the old setup, and I'm going to take those out and use the new ones. I do have one of these mid-USA kits. I think it's pretty good. It's a chrome kit, so it will match kind of what's everything's going on here to look new and look nice. I'm going to go ahead and get these old fittings taken out. Okay, when it comes to new fittings, obviously these are bare, these are ready to screw into the cases, but we want some sort of sealer. One of the things I like using is this Blue Monster thread tape. Now you can use this for gas, you can use this for oil, you can use, it's a plumbing thing, so it's great on pretty much anything, water, all that good stuff. It's a thicker tape and I use it on a lot of things. I put this on petcocks in the past, and now I'm going to use it on oil lines today. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple bands on this real quick here just to make sure this is going to seal up properly. The biggest thing is making sure you wrap this the proper way so when you thread this in, it's not going to pull itself back off, and not to seal the hole. So I've gone ahead and wrapped the first one. The hole is not sealed, so this is ready to go in. I'm going to install this into the bottom here. As you can see, I've got the bottom one installed. Now I need to do the top three, so I'll go ahead and repeat the process 3 more times. Next up is assembling the lines. Obviously there's a lock nut here and then there is a rubber grommet. So I've got this one in place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the next one, I'm going to get the rubber grommet out. I'm going to put my lock nut in place. I'm going to put my rubber grommet on, and then this can't actually fall all the way off, which is nice. So I'll go ahead and slide that down, and then that's already to go. With the top line, it's actually a little too long. I mean, you can see this would go clear into the head itself, so I'm going to need to cut this down a little bit. My plan is I'm going to cut off just a little bit on each end, so I'm going to go ahead and work on that next. So in order to cut this, I'm going to use my good old Milwaukee pipe cutter. Now, this probably isn't the proper way to do it, but it's the tool that I have, and it should work the way that I need it to. And I am going to thread this down, and we're going to try and see how this goes. We got that snugged in place. We're going to go ahead and make our first initial cut. Going to adjust this down a little further. Okay, so I know you probably remember that I left these loose. There was a reason why I did that. That was in order to be able to pull the head here and go ahead and slide the oil line in place. This one is already threaded on a little bit. This one I'll go ahead and start now. Now that I have the rocker cover slid in place, I do have this hand tightened. It is not tightened down all the way. Next, I need to go ahead and put this oil line in. So we'll start with the bottom. And again, there's the rubber grommets. We'll slide those down, get it kind of close. All right, now that I've got the top line in, we're going to put the feed line in. I do have my rubber grommet here. I've slid this all the way down. Now I've got a little bit of working room here. We'll go ahead and get this pushed in place, and then we'll start threading this in. Move my grommet down just a little bit further. Just get my threads to bite. Now that that's started, I'll go ahead and I'll lift this rocker cover up a little bit in order to get this in place. With the rocker cover up a little bit, I can get my line in place. We'll go ahead and slide this rubber grommet up. And then we'll start to thread this on. With those hand tightened, I should be able to push my rocker cover back down in place. And now with our rocker covers in place, it's time to put on the hardware. So we'll go ahead and we'll open this up. We'll put our hardware in place and we'll secure everything down. Here's a fun one for you guys. These were Colony hardware parts. These all came out of the package. They were new. Obviously, you can see this one's a lot smaller than this one. So unfortunately, this one doesn't fit. Thankfully, I have enough hardware laying around here that I have the proper size. I'm not sure why this one's a lot smaller. I don't have a smaller stud on here. I don't see a reason why it would be different. So I'm wondering, did Colony mess up somewhere? Well, friends, there we have it. 2 more things checked off the list. We have our oil lines installed, and we have our timer installed. I guess it's technically 3 things because my rocker boxes are all buttoned up as well. I put my new hardware on. That is torqued to 13 foot-pounds. It's between 12 and 15, so I chose right in the middle and went with 13. My oil lines are snugged down, so everything's all set there. My timer's all set. I believe that the points are all timed in the way that they should be. I will put my timer screw back in, or my timer plug, excuse me, back into the back of the engine here, just to keep it clean for a little while longer. Next thing to tackle, push rods, push rod tubes, and the intake. So we'll work on that next time. If that's something you're excited about, you're going to want to subscribe to my channel. And it's one of those things I keep hitting on with you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. I'm noticing about 90% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel yet, and I wonder why. Help me grow this thing. I want to kind of turn it into a business. I enjoy making these videos, so if I never do much more than make videos on YouTube, that's great. But it would be cool to turn it into something bigger. Of course, if you like this video, give it a like. If you have questions or comments, drop them in that comment section below. I love the feedback from you guys. I love talking to you all, and I really appreciate, the comments that come through. So thank you for that. Anyway, I got to get off of here. I got a lot more to do today, so we'll catch you next time.